Hi friends, I look like a disaster. I went skiing today, took the day off work. Sean and I went skiing at Gunstock in New Hampshire. And so I look like this. I put on minimal makeup to go, just so I looked cute for our date. I put on the Glow by Auric Glow Lust Luminizer in the shade Morganite all over my face, and then I put on my Becca Under Eye Corrector, my CoverGirl Undercover Concealer, just to kind of even my skin tone a little bit with my fluffy blending brush, which I used in my last video, that technique. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. And then I just put on, I don't even think I did brow gel. I think I literally just did mascara, but I don't remember. But yeah, that's all I did today. And I put that on at 7:30 in the morning, and it's now 7:34 at night, so it has been 12 hours. So 12 hours and skiing, I feel like we could look worse. Anyways, welcome to this week's video where we are finally going through my entire makeup collection as well as my makeup collection organization and the new furniture piece I got in order to do so. So on that note, let's not dilly-dally any longer and let's get into it, because I have a feeling this is gonna be a long one because I have a lot of makeup and it's also fun to look at it all. So let's go. All right, welcome friends. I'm over here. Ta-da! This is my furniture piece. I got it from Target. I will try to get you a better image or a better video of it. Maybe I can put it in right now because you're only seeing the 3 drawers. There's also a door right here and then this whole top. So this is the piece of furniture. It is from Target. I will put a link down below as to what it is, but it's like a mid-century modern piece. I do have a little scratchity doodah right there, whoopsies. And then these poles actually came with it. Disregard this. Little room I have with all these lights. Disregard that. That is from when I was helping somebody pick finishes for their bathroom. So I need to find a place to put all those things, but they just live there for now. But yeah, under the window, it's like a really good width for the window. It is exactly the size of the trim, which is great. The depth isn't too bad. I believe it is 15 inches, maybe. And then having the door and then the 3 drawers is like perfect for what I need. So it's small enough that I can use it for all my makeup. If at any point in time I need a bigger piece or I need to like upgrade to something else, or I just want something else, this is a really nice piece that I could put somewhere else in my home. And then just for the sake of the video, I do have these mason jar brush things going on over here, and then the extra things that I haven't organized yet. But they sometimes, like those other 2 jars, typically live on the shelf while I am doing my videos behind me, that little like shelf situation. But yeah, so this is the piece. So top drawer is mainly like base products, and then your second drawer is your like fun stuff, like eyeshadows, lip liners, mascara, eyeliners, lipsticks, all those things kind of go down here. And then down here is where I'm putting all of my special effects stuff right now, as well as some lashes because I didn't have anywhere else to store them in this drawer. My door right here has powder just because that little container would not fit in this drawer. And then a little lipstick holder, as well as all my makeup bags and my palettes. And then my desk still holds a lot of my palettes because I do need another palette organizer, but for now I kept my like favorite palettes in that palette drawer, and I will show you those at the end of the video. But let's start here. So this is my base drawer, and I know this looks like a lot. And let me say, I collect makeup. So for me, this is like the most exciting thing in my entire home is all of my makeup here. I know it's a lot. I know it's more than I will ever use, and it will expire, some of it, most of it, before I'm even able to use all of it. But for me, it makes me happy. So don't judge me. No judging. Okay, so we start with foundations in this drawer, or in this organizer, primers, concealers, bronzers, blushes, highlights. Then I have cream products down here. So these are cream bronzers and blushes, and then I have some stuff that doesn't fit. So I have a cream blush here, a powder bronzer, my e.l.f. bite-sized things in here, which I'll actually pull out real quick to show you. So these bite-sized face duos I have down here because they don't fit. I also have my Colourpop Super Shock highlighter because it doesn't really fit in the organizer either. Then I have this Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm because for a while everyone was talking about how this was like an amazing primer. Sorry, I'm jostling stuff around. Everyone talked about how this was amazing primer, and so I still have it from then. I just haven't used it in a while, but then I also have my Ordinary Moroccan Argan Oil in here as well. So, oh, and this amazing beauty of a product, which is the Glow by Auric Glow Lust Luminizer. Wow, I can't, it is the most stunning thing, but that lives in this drawer as well. So the organizers I got are from Amazon. I will link them down below. They're just clear organizers, and they come in, I believe, 4 different sizes. So I kind of calculated out what would fit in the drawer based off of the dimensions that they had online. And then I decided what sizes I would need for which products. So like the biggest one for foundations, next biggest for the primers, and then by size. So then like long things like concealer would need a longer drawer or organizer. I used a longer one to put blushes and bronzers side by side, and then a smaller one to put my highlights because they don't have that many. So when we go through our foundations, we have, this is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Serum Foundation. This is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I have the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I have the LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment, which is white, so I use that in my special effects stuff. I have the L'Oreal Fresh Wear Foundation, and then I have the Maybelline BB Cream mixed in between my 3 L'Oreal Pro Glow foundations, which are my favorite of all time. I will never go without this in my collection, and I think this will be my holy grail foundation till the day I die. I also have my Oma Beauty foundation. I have the Revlon Color Stay for normal to dry skin, which I personally don't like, but I still have it. I have my Wet n Wild Dewy foundation. And then way in the back here is the Luminous Silk by Giorgio Armani. I bought this for my mom's wedding, and I just held on to it because it is a makeup artist's holy grail when they do weddings and things. So the more weddings I do, the more I want to hold on to that just in case it matches somebody. Primers. I have all of my primers in here, so I didn't really specify by function. I just put all of them. So I have my Tatcha Luminous Silk, Liquid Silk Canvas. And then I have, which is my like holy grail right now that I've been using nonstop. However, since I've been more dry in the winter, I have been using the Hangover RX primer, which is a moisturizing primer, and the e.l.f. Poreless Putty to fill in my pores, because mixing the Tatcha and the Hangover I have found is not my favorite combo. Then I have the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion under here, which I talked about a lot. I have the Maybelline Master Prime for the blur and redness control. I do find that this smooths my skin a little bit, so if I don't want to use the Tatcha, I can use this once in a while. I also have the NYX Angel Veil, which is a great pore filling primer. That is a holy grail as well. Mixing this underneath the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas will give you the most flawless complexion you will ever have in your entire life. And then I also have the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in here as well, because I use that as a primer more than I use it as a highlighter. I believe my daughter is yelling at me. She is. Please hold. Okay, sorry for that delay. We did make it through our whole primer drawer, or primer organizer, so that's great. Now we'll move on to concealers. On the top, I have my 2 favorites, which I use in almost every video at all times. It is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover and the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in the shade Light to Medium. This has been sold out for a while. I think it went viral on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, and so people have been buying it like crazy, but it is amazing. So when it does go back in stock, highly recommend. Then the rest of these concealers I have kind of just to play with. I don't use like any of them. I would use this one. This is the Nars. It's hard to get out. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. It's just too dark for me. You can tell by the shade next to my hand. It's like a shade or two too dark, so now that it's winter, I can't really use it. If I got a lighter shade of this, I would be super excited and probably use it all the time because it's really nice. This is the Nars Natural Radiant Concealer, I believe. Doesn't even tell me, but it's the little trial size. I got this for my mother's wedding as well because I wanted to have this as an option for concealer because I didn't think she would want like a super heavy concealer. Then I have two Maybelline Fit Me concealers in here in the shade 10, which before I found my CoverGirl concealer, these were my favorites. So this one's actually unopened. But since I found the CoverGirl one, I haven't been using this because I don't love it as much. But this used to be my holy grail, but the CoverGirl surpassed it not long ago. This is the Flower Beauty, what is the name of this? Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. I bought this a long time ago. It was never my favorite, so I haven't used it. It's probably long expired. I don't even know why I have it still, but I do. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I got this in the summer. Wasn't my favorite either, but I bought it, so I kept it. It's also $5. I think it works. It's just not my all-time favorite. CoverGirl is way better than this, so. And then last but not least, I have the YouTube Holy Grail Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Corrector. Not my favorite concealer either, but everybody says it's amazing, so I feel like I have to own it as a beauty YouTuber, you know? Now I move on to our bronzers. So like I said, here's our bronzers, and then I do have one blush in front right here. The organizer only fits 4 deep, so these two are free floating in the front, but they do fit quite snug. So this is the Colourpop Pressed Powder Face. I don't know what shade because I can't see the back because it's in this little compact, but I haven't used this in ages. It's more of like a radiant bronzer rather than a matte bronzer. So I hold on to it for that option, but it was never my favorite formula. I just don't have a lot of bronzers, so I feel like I need options. This is the e.l.f. Also, when I went through and did my makeup organization, I decluttered a lot of makeup. Like, I'm pretty sure I gave 4 or 5 palettes to Ashley, which that video, by the way, if you have not seen my video where I do Ashley's makeup, that is like about to reach 1,000 views. I'm not sure why it blew up all of a sudden, but like that video is my most watched video by a lot. So if you haven't seen it, I'd be surprised, but it's a fun one, so go watch that. This is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. Phenomenal powder bronzer, and it's e.l.f., so it's inexpensive. If you need a good matte bronzer, this is phenomenal. But my favorite bronzer, powder bronzer of all time, it's gonna be a bee to get out. Do this. Is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzed. That is the shade that works for my skin tone. It is amazing. It is the best texture, the best formula. Smells like a pina colada. It is gorgeous. They have a bunch of shades. If you have not tried this, I would highly recommend. It is more expensive than the e.l.f. bronzer, but it is very worth it. Every penny spent will be worth it. Beautiful. Then the last bronzer in this section is actually a cream because it comes in a compact. This is my Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. I've talked about this bronzer quite a few times. It is also one of my favorites, but I do have a cream bronzer that I like a little bit more, so I don't have this one as my all-time favorite, but this is a phenomenal cream bronzer as well. And then the last powder bronzer, which is in front of this one, is one I just got at TJ Maxx actually, because I feel like what's her name? Jessica Braun talked about this a long time ago on her channel, and I saw it at TJ Maxx and it was inexpensive, so I bought it. It's the Bare Minimals Invisible Bronze in the shade Tan. It's not bad. I tried it. It's kind of nice. It's a little warmer than I typically go for. Let me see if I can compare it to the e.l.f. bronzer. It is very sheer, which is nice because you can build it. Actually, it's not that bad. It looks more cool tone, surprisingly, than this e.l.f. bronzer, but putting it on, it wasn't my favorite bronzer ever, but it wasn't bad. I feel like I need to keep trying it before I can give you a good explanation. Blushes. I don't have a lot of these either. I'm not crazy about blushes because the only blush I really care about is my e.l.f. bite-sized. However, let's start here. This I also got at TJ Maxx once. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Peachy Love. I have used this in a video before. It is these 3 beautiful peachy shades. This one is matte, this one is satiny, and this one has a hair of glitter in it, but sometimes I really only use these two, unless I feel like mixing them all together, all three with one brush. But anyways, so that's that. I then have this super old blush. This is Too Faced Papa Don't Peach blush. It is very similar to Milani Luminoso, if I'm being honest. I don't know if they even sell this anymore, but I got this a long time ago. I feel like I know I was living at home still when I got this, so my daughter was less than a year old. Anyways. Then I have the e.l.f. Primer Infused blush, which is another phenomenal formula. The Primer Infused line is just great. So if you ever need a blush from the drugstore, e.l.f., amazing. This is in the shade Always Cheeky. I've used this a million times in videos. And then a blush that I will never live without because it is just absolutely phenomenal and stunning is the Milani Baked Powder Blush in Luminoso. As you can tell, there's no writing on it anymore. I've really beat this guy up. And it is this gorgeous, beautiful, stunning delight for the eyes. That's also super peachy and glowy and just, wow. It is stunning. So then I also have this Honest Beauty blush that I just used in my most recent video in the shade Rose Pink. It's a cream, but it isn't a compact, so I would typically put it in here. It just does not fit, just like this guy. So it kind of sits in the front. So that is in there. And then the most important blushes, like I mentioned, the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duos are my all-time favorite blushes. I use these two shades only because they're the only ones I have. Spiced Apple and Lychee. Spiced Apple's up here, Lychee's down here. This is more of like a peachy tone. And I don't really use this highlighter at all. It is too dark, but sometimes I will put it on my eyes if I want to get a very cohesive look. But this is a peachy tone. And then Lychee is a mauve tone. Same with this shimmer or the highlight. I really only use it on my eyes. They are too dark for me, but the blushes are worth $3. Like, are you kidding? $3 if you need a drugstore blush. Either the Primer Infused line or this line. Phenomenal. They have more shades too. Those are just what I have. So now we will move on to, we'll just do these highlights right here. You can see them, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is the Essence Pure Nude highlighter because it's amazing. It is a very glow from within natural highlighter, and Essence is also very inexpensive. So the reason I like this so much is it's not glittery, it's not super reflective on my cheeks. It just looks like I'm like naturally hydrated, which is my favorite. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals. I think I've used this once. It is very shimmery. Like very, I don't know if I've ever really like used it, you know? She is highlighted. But I bought it because it's Wet n Wild and it's inexpensive, and I felt like I needed more options for highlighter, but let's be honest, I don't really wear it. Kkw Beauty, this is from her Forever, from her like wedding collection, which, yikes, this didn't age well. This is the Forever highlighter, and it's pretty. I've used it a few times in videos. It's not my favorite highlighter ever, and it is pretty expensive, but it's a nice golden tone, which this highlight is more of a champagne, so it's nice to have another option for color. And then this one has a little bit more of a pinky champagne-y effect as well. So once again, nice to have color variation when it comes to highlighters in case you're going for a look that you need a gold. I also have this Colourpop Super Shock highlighter in Lunch Money, which is a beautiful, stunning, like ivory champagne gold, also beautiful. And then another cream highlighter that I put in this section because it is a shadow stick from e.l.f., but I personally thought that it was a nice pinpointed, like shiny highlight. This is in the shade Perfect Pearl, and I used it, or I tried to use it in a Makeup Monday, but the makeup came out horrendous, so I didn't keep going. But this No Budge highlight, or No Budge eyeshadow stick, when you blend it out, is like a gorgeous highlighter for my skin tone. It's not like super shimmery. It's like a nice glow. So I want to try this in a video with you. I just want to mess with it a little bit more and get a better feel for the product. Then I'm going to put this in the highlight category just because it's kind of right here, but I mainly use this as a primer or an all over face product. This is the Glow by Auric Glow Lust Radiant Luminizer in the shade Morganite. I know I've mentioned this already in this video, but it is stunning, beautiful, amazing. It is like a luminous moisturizer, if you will, or a luminous, I'm just gonna say a primer, but you can put it all over your face and just wear it alone because it has a little bit of a color tint to it, but it's not going to really even your skin tone out or cover anything up. It's just stunning. I don't know. I'll use it in a video someday and you'll see what I'm talking about. I've used it every day since I opened it. On to my creams. I have this Physicians Formula multicolor stick in the shade Soft Pink. It's my only cream blush that I really have other than the Honest one, but it's in stick form, so it hangs out in here. And then I have my tried and true Milk Makeup Bronzing Stick in the shade Baked. I have the trial size, not the full size. My friend Ashley actually found the full size of this in TJ Maxx the other day, like the full sized, which is like this big. She is chunky, but the trial size is what, $14, and I have had this for over a year. Like, you're not gonna blow through it. So even if you don't wanna spend the full amount on the large size, because you don't wanna spend that kind of money, the trial size is like a perfect size. This is the Oma Beauty Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Duo Stick. So we have the bronzer, which I know I've mentioned is too dark for me, which someday I'm going to get the lighter shade of this. And then the highlight, which is a nice golden cream highlighter on the other side. That lives right here. And then my last cream product is the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Toffee. This is also a beautiful bronzer from the drugstore. So that is it for this drawer. We are gonna move on to our lower drawer. All right, I had to do some readjusting so you can see the whole drawer. I'm not gonna go through every single individual product when it comes into here because there's a lot of stuff, but I'll give you the gist of the companies and what I'm using. So in my liquid lipstick drawer, I have a lot of Colourpop, and then I also have a few Ofra. I believe I have one Wet n Wild, a NYX Soft Matte Liquid Lip Cream. We have a couple color, oh my gosh, making a mess of NYX Lip Lingerie Push-Up, and then a few Colourpop lippy sticks way under here as well. They're just hard to get to, so I'm not going to dig in there right now. And then as far as other liquid lipsticks are concerned, I do have my Superstay Matte Inks in this little thing right here with other lipsticks, and then my everyday lip products, like lip products I use more often than just like occasionally, I keep in this mason jar on my shelf behind me while I film. So I have all my Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink crayons in here. I have my Sephora cream lip stains because they are my favorite formula. So I have my Marvelous Mauve, my perfect red shade, which is 01. And then this one that I got that's like a bright pink, but it's not my favorite formula. It's one of the newer ones and it's not as creamy. It's a little drying. I also have the Kkw Beauty in the shade Bombshell. However, I noticed last video that they do not sell this anymore, so I need to find a new shade. And then the Mellow Cosmetics Matte Liquid Lip Paint in the shade Berlin, because that is also a phenomenal color. So these stay in my mason jar and they hang out on my shelf. And then the other lipsticks I have, this is the Colourpop lipstick in the shade Appy. I have not used this in a really long time, but I keep it because it's cute, if I'm being honest. And I like to have options for lipsticks. It's just not really something that I use a ton because I do prefer liquid lipstick or lip liner. This is the Kkw lipstick that came with her wedding collection as well, which is Love. As you can see right here, I've used that in a video when I reviewed the Kkw Beauty products. Then we have this drawer, or this organizer, which like I said is a combination of a bunch of stuff. So all of my Colourpop cream gel liners are in here. This is the shade Amethyst Hour. I also have brow products. This is my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I have the Pixie liners, which I don't love, but they're in here. I have this Maybelline Lasting Drama Gel Liner, my Benefit Brow Gel, the NYX Brow Gel I tried, my NYX Professional Epic Ink Liners, which I have in black and brown because they are some of my favorites, along with the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof. I have the LA Girl Glide Gel Liner for my tight line, which is now my favorite tight line gel liner, pencil liner. This is my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight, which is great for my lower lash line brightening, as well as the shade Honey Dude from Colourpop. The only mascara I have, because it's the only one I will ever need or ever use, is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. And then just some more random colors of the same variation of stuff. I do have a NYX brow pencil way under here, but I typically just use my Benefit. Then in my Colourpop Super Shocks, I will go through all of these, but I know I've mentioned before, and don't get mad at me, most of the Super Shocks I own were limited edition and actually are not around anymore. So if you see a color that you like, I'm so sorry, but you probably cannot get it, and I'm really sorry for that. But this was a limited edition. This is from their birthday collection. This is the Birthday Boy. Then I have the shade Puppy Love, which is my favorite Colourpop Super Shock I've ever had, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when I dry out of this. I like see the pan and I'm scared to use it because it's a phenomenal color. They should come back with it someday. Koosh, this was a limited edition one, or it used to be a color that was in the line, but they discontinued it and then had it available for a short time to purchase, so I purchased it then. It's like a silvery taupe. This is Waddles. This one they do have still, so if you would like this color, you can totally get it. It is like a satiny pink that you can put all over your eye. I believe I mentioned this in my TikTok made me buy it video, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a great, like, quick everyday color. I also have, this is another limited edition. This is Catnip, or Catnap? Catnap. This is another, like, shelter collection like the Puppy Love was. And then this, I believe they might still have this. This is Flower Shop. It's like a bright blue. I'll take the cover off this one. It's like a bright blue green that I bought thinking I would have something fun to do with it. And to be honest, I think I've only ever swatched it, never actually put it on my eyes. And then these last four, if you know, you know, these are all of the Raw Beauty, Christy, and Colourpop collaboration Super Shocks. This is Campfire, the bright orange. This is Like a Moss, which is a beautiful duochrome between like a beigey peach and a green. It's stunning. And then my two favorites are Mycelium and Olympic. They are just good all over shades. Difference between Mycelium and Olympic, if they have these available, highly recommend. Olympic is a little lighter, a little more like champagne-y, and Mycelium is a little bit more pink. So that's why I use those. Let's get those all back in here. And then I have all of these glitters. This one I need to use. It is so pretty. You can see the reflect, I think. I don't have the names of all of these, but I will guide. I'm not going to be able to link all these products if I'm being honest, but this is from Amazon. I have it linked in my holiday glitter liner video, the whole 6-pack that I bought, if you would like that. So these are all the colors. I have like a peachy tone, which is the most glittery, like duochrome shade. And then I have this purple one, a green, which I used in that video, a red, which is another classic color, a pink, and a blue, just to have options. Then I have this Wet n Wild single shadow in Creme Brulee. I had this as like a setting shade for my lid. I believe Jessica Braun talked about this too, so I bought it. It's like a $1 shadow. I don't even know if they sell it anymore. And then this is a Colourpop single pressed powder shadow. I would put it in my Z palette, but I can't actually get it out of this little cutie pie container, so I leave it in here. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a standard crease shade. I don't know. I hold on to it in here. Here I have all my lip liners. We'll just go through brands pretty quick. So I know I've talked about these being my favorite. These are the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencils. I have them in like any nude shade that you would ever want, and they are stunning and beautiful, and I love them. Then I have a lot of NYX pencils, which are all of these, I believe, are NYX. Yep, so these are all different, oops, NYX lip liners. Wow, looks like I haven't even used this one before. So yep, all these different NYX lip liners in beautiful shades. I have a few Wet n Wild lip liners in here, which are these. Oh, and one more down here. So these are all Wet n Wild, which are also pretty inexpensive. I have a lot of Colourpop, as you can see. These are all, oops, let's move this. These are all Colourpop lip liners. These are also phenomenal. If you need an inexpensive lip liner and you're already making a Colourpop order, I would totally go for some of their lip liners. They are gorgeous. They are creamy. They're easy to glide on. they do dry up a little bit and then kind of like fall. I don't know if that makes any sense, but so as you can see here, like there is a lip liner in here. It just like fell inside of there. So you have to like shake it out. It's very strange, but it does exist. And then I have a bunch of random other ones, which I think I've gotten from BoxyCharms like long time ago. So they're probably expired. This is the Kkw lip liner. They love lip liner that goes with the lipstick. This is the Rimmel, whoops, sorry. The Rimmel Lasting Finish Stay On Contouring Pencil in Natural. This is Ofra lip liner in Mauve. I definitely got this from a BoxyCharm, and I remember at one point this was like my holy grail lip liner, but I haven't used it in ages now. And then this is the Bella Pierre number 3 in Cinnamon. I know this is from a BoxyCharm, but anyways. So those are my main brands that I love, my main lip liners. As a girl who never liked lip gloss, I have a whole container full of them now. So one by one, Maybelline Lifter glosses. I know I've talked about this a lot. I have 3 of them. 2, and 3. I've never actually used this shade. I feel like it'll be a really good summer shade though. This is Reef. I got it because it was beautiful. It's like a peachy corally color. A little bright for winter, but these 2 are my favorite. We have Moon and Silk. Moon, this one right here, is for sure a dupe for this next lip gloss that I have, which is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. And as you can tell, they're the same color. So if you don't want to spend the money on Fenty Beauty, Lifter Gloss by Maybelline. Maybelline Gloss also smells and tastes better than the Fenty. And then the last 2 lip glosses are the Raw Beauty Christie and Colourpop lip glosses in the shades Glacier and Wildflower. Also stunning. Glacier I used, I believe, in a Makeup Monday, just all over my lips without anything under it. And it was actually really pretty and I liked it a lot. So those are all my lip glosses. And then we have our single shadows. So down here, we have the Mellow Cosmetics Glitter Chrome Shadow in Rose Gold. I've talked about this in a video before. Beautiful little topper shadow. And then I have 2 L'Oreal Infallible shadows as well. This is in the shade Amber Rush, which is a very well-known YouTube color. And then I got this one for myself because I liked the shade. I do like a bright shimmer on my eyes rather than like a deeper one if I'm doing like a full glam moment. But if I'm doing like an everyday look, I would typically go for a brighter one. This is Ice Latte. Then I have primers. So I have my Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Primer. I have my NYX Glitter Glue or Glitter Primer. And then this right here is the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. I've heard that this is an amazing primer, and since I've had this one for so long, I've also heard that they are dupes for each other, so no harm in trying it since it's from the drugstore. So I did buy that. I just haven't opened it yet. Then for my liquid shadows, I have the e.l.f. XJ Kissa Eyeshadow Duo, Suki to My Heart. I believe this is the only product they still have on their website from that collection, so if you would like it, it's beautiful. You can try it. I have the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner. This is like super expired. If I shake it enough, oh yeah, way better. It was separated. I just shook it up, it looks way better. This is in the shade Midnight Cowboy. It's just like a glitter eyeliner, but not my favorite way to apply glitter. And I do find that when I use this, it kind of takes off the makeup under it. A lot of people love it though, so I'm not sure if I'm just using it wrong. I don't know. Then I have the Pixie Liquid Shadow Topper. I don't believe this has a name for me to tell you because it's not on my package, but a little like pinky rose gold color. And then the Stila Glitter and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Enchantress. I know I got this at TJ Maxx a long time ago, so this is probably like a discontinued shade, but these glitter and glows are also very well known. And then I just have 2 additional Epic ink liners in here as backups for when I need them. Now our special effects drawer, which is not super full, but we're getting there, okay? So here I have all my lashes. This is an open Ardell Demi Wispies. I have the Raw Beauty Crispy Crispy, she calls herself that, but Raw Beauty Crispy lashes. These are the Ardell Faux Mink. I have the Ardell 3D Faux Mink. These 2 I have not tried yet. And then the Ardell Naked Lashes in 422. These are actually my I'd say right now, probably my favorite false lashes. These are the ones that I used in my glitter eyeliner video, and you can see all the green glitter in there. And then lash glue under there as well. Then, as far as special effects go, I also have an empty, oh, we didn't talk about this. Look at, I have an empty one. That means I can buy more makeup. Yahoo! But I also have another empty one down here. But this is my Makeup Forever Flash Palette, which is the cream paint that I was using during my Halloween makeup. And then I mix paint on the top here, so that's why it looks a little crazy. But that's what I was using during Halloween time, but I upgraded. So, in an attempt to get myself more paints to use for Halloween, all right, this is the Mehron. I think it's the, what, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 colors. Well, 30 pans. I believe there's a couple of repeats, so a few blacks and a few whites because those are the ones you will use the most. But this is a water activated paint palette that I bought using their Cyber Monday or Black Friday sale because I really enjoyed doing face painting during Halloween. So I thought that was a good splurge for myself that I can use this year when I'm doing paint and Halloween makeup, or if I do any other special effects stuff just for fun. So I have that in here, just waiting to be loved and used. When I bought this, I also bought this Mehron liquid latex. And then 2 glue sticks because when you're doing special effects, you need to glue down your eyebrows. So glue sticks just live in this drawer with my special effects for when I need to use them. So now let's move into my door. Okay, I am trying very hard to avoid having my body in this video because I look like a hot mess, but this is my door side of my piece. So like I mentioned, I have a lipstick organizer up here and just all of my makeup bags. As for the lipsticks that are in this little section, which live right here, I have my L'Oreal Color Reach Shine lipsticks. I have 2. This is Glossy Fawn and Sparkling Rose. Sparkling Rose I actually don't love a lot. I got it thinking that I would love it and I actually didn't, but Glossy Fawn, great color. And then I have this e.l.f. Lip Exfoliator, which is my favorite if I have super dry lips and I want to get all of the crusty nastiness off. I just go to town on my lips with a lip exfoliator. It's like a sugar scrub in a lipstick form. Way easier to maintain than having like a little pot of a sugar scrub that you're dipping your finger and rubbing all over your lips. So if you want something to make your lips nice and smooth and even without having to dip your finger into a pot, this is the best thing that I've ever found. This is the coconut flavor. I believe they have mint, coconut, and cherry. They used to have vanilla, but I think they discontinued it. Then the rest are Maybelline lipsticks, and I know I've talked about some of these a bunch, but this is the Maybelline Mauve for Me shade. I very much enjoy using this shade as a blush as well, using a stipple brush. So you can always use your lipsticks on your eyes, on your lips, on your cheeks, wherever you want. Lipstick is not just for lips. Makeup has no rules. Like you don't need to just use it on your lips because it says lipstick. You don't need to just use it on your eyes because it says eyeliner. You don't need to just use it on your lips because it says lip liner. Like you can put it wherever you want as long as it's eye safe or whatever. But this is a great blush shade as well. So if you ever want like a cream blush and a lipstick, it makes a very cohesive look when you do things like that and use them in both places, but great color. I very much enjoy this shade. Another phenomenal lipstick. This is Truffle Tease by Maybelline. If you want a perfect bridal makeup lipstick, every time I give people options for lipsticks for their wedding, they choose this color. I've had it been chosen in 3 weddings and I give like 3 or 4 options and everyone picks this shade. So great color, Truffle Tease. And then there's also just a few other fun shades that I have for myself. I have Warm Me Up, which is this shade right here. I have Flush Punch, which is like one of my favorite shades. I'm a very pinky lip kind of girl. And then I have this shade, which I only got because Jaclyn Hill used to talk about all the time. It is far too shimmery for me, so I don't even like it, but Baddest Beige. It is like a shiny, glossy lipstick. It is not my favorite. So I've actually never worn this, but it lives here. Down here, like I mentioned, my powders don't fit in my larger drawers. So these these are all face powders. I really only use 2, well, 3 of them. This is the RCMA No Color Powder. When I'm doing special effects, this is the powder that I will go to because it is super easy to get a bunch out of it. It is not like colored like my typical face powder is, so it doesn't affect the color of the paint underneath it. It's super inexpensive. You can get it on Beautylish, I believe. You might be able to get it on Amazon, but this has lasted me years. Then my everyday powder, Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 10. I actually have a backup in here too, so I have 2 of them right now because the second this runs out, I don't want to live without it, so I need another one. I then have the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder in here. This is another great option, but I personally think the Maybelline Fit Me is better than this, so I use the Maybelline Fit Me. Then I have these 2 number 7 powders. I was trying to get this one because it's supposedly a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Setting Powder or something. It's something she has that's like a great under eye powder. I personally have found that loose setting powders work way better for my dry under eyes than packed, pressed setting powders. They say the opposite is true, but I have not found that to be the case, so I personally don't love this, but I bought it from Jessica Braun's recommendation that this was an amazing product. And I bought this one thinking it was the other one. So this is the Translucent Perfect Light Pressed Powder, Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light. This is just like a trial size that I purchased. People said that it was like the best powder ever. It is very finely milled. It feels beautiful, but I haven't seen a huge difference when I use it, and powders all over my skin just aren't what my skin's going for. So hard for me to use this one. And then this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I've used this in a lot of my, what was the series I was doing? Evolution of Makeup series. I use this a lot as like a powder foundation because it's the only one I have that really does the job. So I use this sometimes, not a ton. And those are all my powders. I also have my setting spray in here and my color switch. And here I have a palette organizer. How good can you see this? You can see it pretty good. This is my palette organizer. I have one, I need a second one. I don't know if I actually have room in this. I can fit 2 side by side, but I'll have to find a new place for this, probably up here. These are the palettes that I don't use a ton. These are the ones that I just like keep on hand for reasons of like memory, of wanting to hold on to it. I have a lot of face palettes in here because I don't typically use face palettes unless I'm doing somebody else's makeup, like makeup artisty. So I'll start in the back. It's easier that way. This is my Z palette. Not Z palette, that brand. That's like saying Band-Aid instead of bandage, but this is my magnetic palette. I don't remember where I got it from. I believe it's Shop Miss A. You can get very inexpensive products. So it comes with a mirror, which is awesome. I love the wood personally. And then I have all my Colourpop single shadows in here. Don't use them a ton, so that's why they reside in this little guy. I have my Morphe and Maddie Ziegler palette. This is the Imagination palette. I have it in here as well because it's pretty. I bought it, but it's not my favorite, so I don't really use it that often. Another palette in here is my Juvia's Place Masquerade Mini. This palette is so cool, and Juvia's Place has really good shimmers, but I personally am not crazy about the quality of the shadows. I know a lot of people are obsessed with them. Is this in focus? Yes, it is. Okay. A lot of people are obsessed with Juvia's Place. I don't know what it is. For some reason, it doesn't do what I want. It could be that it's expired, but I feel like the shimmers are a little hard to work with. The mattes aren't that blendable. They're not my favorite, but they're a Black-owned beauty brand. I think that the brand has a lot of really interesting products, so I wouldn't base it off of this one palette. I don't think that this palette was like perfect for me. Like this is a really like thick shadow. It's pretty, but it's just hard. I don't know. Not my favorite, but I do think it's cool, so I keep it. Then this is a Morphe blush palette, 9.6, I believe. This is a palette that I use when I'm doing makeup on people as well. They're just really nice neutral shades, some shimmers, some mattes, mixing them all together. I don't typically dip into this lower row. This would be nice for deeper skin tones, but these 6 are really nice for when I'm doing lighter skinned clients. Then I have my Rach Loves and Pixie palette. Rach Loves is a YouTuber that I adore. I think she's amazing. And I also really enjoy her like lifestyle and kitchen cooking content, which is her Rach Loves Life channel. But this is her highlight palette with Pixie. I've used it a few times. I'm not a crazy highlight person. I just bought it because, well, I love Rachel, and so I wanted to support her. So that's how I am. If you're seeing a trend, I really like YouTuber collaborations with makeup brands because I feel like that is the coolest thing. And like, I mean, someday if I was ever able to do something like that, that would be the coolest thing in the world. So like, why not support the people that are able to do that? This is the KVD. This is the old branding on their part because I have had it for so long, but now just KVD Vegan Beauty. And this is their Shade and Light Contour Palette. This is phenomenal. I've used this for years. If I'm actually contouring my face, I will use this shade. Sometimes mix it with this one. I used to use these under my eyes all the time because Jaclyn Hill said so, but like I said, pressed powders aren't my favorite. These are obviously for deeper skin tones. Sometimes I use this one as an eyeshadow. As you can tell, it's kind of dipped into, but great all-around contouring palette. I know now they have this where these come out and they are replaceable. So as a makeup artist, that is awesome. Also as a regular consumer, that is awesome because you can buy them individually. Or if you're running out, like this one, I needed a new one, I can take it out and replace it, which is really cool. It's a very sustainable thing that I wish that more companies would do, so you didn't need to have all of this packaging that you have to dispose of. This palette is the Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy palette. I think I've used this maybe once, but my daughter actually picked this out for me last year for Christmas. So I will never get rid of this no matter how much I need to for any reason because my daughter picked it out and it is beautiful and gorgeous. Having it be a limited edition palette that you can't get anymore makes it hard for me to use it on camera, but since she picked it out, it will forever be an amazing palette to me. Another Too Faced palette is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, which smells like peaches and is stunning. I have used this many times as well. Then I have this palette, which you can't buy anymore, but I found it at TJ Maxx once and I had to buy it for myself because it's so colorful and cool, but I don't think I've ever used it since I bought it. So much so that I still have this little protector on it. It's just colorful and cool, so I wanted to keep it. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera palette. A lot of fun colors, a lot of fun shimmers, a lot of really good options. There's some really interesting shimmers that I haven't really seen before. This is like a silvery with like a hint of a yellowy gold, and then this is like a silvery blue. I also like these really bright, colorful mattes. I'd like to try and play with it. I've definitely touched these two shades and this shade before, but once again, you can't get it, so I don't use it on YouTube because that's a little unfair. However, I do that with other things all the time, so I'm not sure what soapbox I'm standing on. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Holy grail, like I have beat this palette to crap. As you can tell, I've literally broken it open. Like that's the back of the palette. Like shouldn't be open like that. This palette is beat up, but she is a beauty. I love this palette. It is a warm toned neutral dream. I used to use this literally every single day. The colors are gorgeous. So personally, I like a palette with way more mattes than shimmers, and there is only, well, this is like kind of shimmery, but these are the only two real shimmers and the rest are mattes. So like this palette is right up my alley. You can tell the shades that I use the most, but I have dipped into every shade in this palette at least once. That says a lot. That does not happen a lot with eyeshadow palettes for most people, including myself. It's literally breaking off the back as we're talking about it. This thing is beat up, but I love it so much. So that stays in there. Now I'm going to go get my palettes out of my everyday drawer and sit them in front of you and just talk about them right here. So I have to move this whole setup over there. Please hold. And one more PSA before I show you any more palettes. For most people, this would be too many. Okay, I get that. But eyeshadow palettes and lipsticks are like my favorite thing to buy when it comes to makeup. And although it may not seem like it, all of these lipsticks back here are narrowed down. So this is what I collect, okay? Like a lot of people collect stickers or postcards or mugs or I don't know, but I collect eyeshadow palettes. So please don't judge me because it is excessive. It is too much, but I'm not sorry and I will continue to buy eyeshadow palettes. They are my favorite things. Onwards and upwards, here we go. This is the NYX. So these are all the palettes that are in my center drawer in my desk right now. This is the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette in Warm Neutrals. Sean came home from Kohl's one day and brought this home for me. This is like a nice warm neutral palette, I guess. So you have like your lighter shades up here, and then you keep moving a little bit deeper as you go down. There's about just as many mattes as there is shimmers. I think it's beautiful. I haven't used it a ton, but it is very pretty. So there's that one. I have this Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. This is another really great, there we go. Another really great option for, this one also smells like peaches. Oh, it's so nice. It's like a nice warm neutral or warm shade palette. If you want another option for the Anastasia Modern Renaissance, the only problem is, so they're very similar in tone. If you're seeing what I'm showing you. The only difference is that this palette has 2 shimmer shades in it. This one has 0. Obviously it's a matte palette. I don't mind. I actually prefer all matte palettes, and if a palette didn't have any shimmers, I wouldn't even be that upset about it. If I'm being honest, I love mattes more than I like shimmers. It's just who I am. They're more practical. I don't know. I'm a matte girl. So this palette's great. I also have the, I'll close this again. I feel like I keep opening it to reference something, but the camera will focus better if that's shut. The Pure X Raw Beauty Christie palette. So the colorful side, and then you flip it over, and the neutral side. Not my favorite palette of all time. I do think the neutral side is better than the, just kidding. I love the colorful side, but the only problem with the neutral is that like this color is like my favorite, and it's like a bright like pinky color. But the other ones, the other browns, are just like too warm for my liking. I feel like these are getting really washed out. Here we go. If I like turn it, you can see it better. They're just too warm for my liking, too like yellowy warm. I don't know. They're not my favorite tones, but like I said, I collect collaborations, so I have a lot of them. Tartelette in Bloom. I know I've talked about this. Favorite eyeshadow palette of all time. I used it the other day again, and I was like, wow, this palette is so pretty. I wish you could like see the shades better. All my lights are washing everything out. I'm so sorry, but it makes the lighting look better, so I have to do it. Next, I have my 3 Profusion palettes that I bought this summer to do multiple looks with. Hey, I'm in here. So my 3 Profusion palettes, this is the Mauve, which is a great neutral palette. I think these are all like $5 palettes. You can find them at Walmart if you want a really nice palette with, I believe, 12 shades per. That is inexpensive, but also works phenomenally. This Mauve's palette is up my alley. I am a pinky toned shadow girl, and that Mauve's is perfect. I also have this Neon palette that I have used before in a Makeup Monday. Yes, Makeup Monday. And then the Spectrum palette that I have also used before, I believe. Actually, it looks like I've never touched this, so I need to. Spectrum palette. I was really into colorful shadows this summer, and I'm still really into it. I just haven't done a bunch because all my Makeup Mondays have been while I am getting ready for work, and all of my like videos have been pretty planned out or using new stuff, so I haven't used a lot of color, but that is awesome. Another palette that I love is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. Technically, I believe Sean bought me this as well, but this palette is stunning. It has a lot of neutrals as well as a lot of color. I know in my introducing color into your makeup video, I talked about this palette being a really good option if you want to start using color, because there's a lot of neutral mattes you can mix with the colors, and then the colors are really nice pops and shimmery. Although there is a few mattes that are a little bit brighter and more colorful, but like a blue and a purple shimmer is a good way to introduce color into your makeup. So if you want a palette that has a lot of color but also has a lot of mattes that you can use all the time, Urban Decay Born to Run is awesome. Urban Decay shadows are also amazing, and the packaging's pretty cool. Next up, I have the Kkw Beauty. This is her classic eyeshadow palette. It is this bad boy. Has a lot of neutrals, a couple shimmers. I really only use this shimmer. I haven't touched these two. This purple seems a little out of place for me, so I don't use it, but I've used every other color in this palette. I think it's pretty good. The blending is nice, and it's not too bad, but it's not my everyday palette. Then I have the Mellow Cosmetics Sinopia palette. I know I talked about this being one of my favorite palettes of the year as well. Still is, still beautiful. Gorgeous shimmers, great mattes, pop of blue, really fun. So that is in my everyday drawer. the e.l.f. X J Kissa collaboration, which is her colorful palette. Her colorful palette. Stunning in every way, shape, and form. I keep this in my everyday palette drawer because, well, have you seen it? Like, look at it. Obviously, I'm keeping this in my everyday palette drawer. Swap it. It's just beautiful. Then a recent purchase, the Kkw Beauty Naughty Nude palette. I know I just did a video on this. I also used this, I believe, yesterday to do like a deeper, more fun mauve-y look because I was wearing an olive green sweater and it was stunning. So this palette's really fun and interesting. Still want to play with it, still want to do looks with it, so that will stay in that everyday drawer. Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. I know I just did a video on this too. Absolutely beautiful, stunning palette. I've used this a lot more than I expected. I'm pretty sure I've used it 4 times since I posted that video, which was 2 weeks ago. So beautiful palette. Really good for everyday stuff if you just use shades down here. I also believe I used this on a Makeup Monday. No, I used this in my last video actually. This Garmin shade, and then this Diatonic shade is also an everyday shadow. I believe I used Tungsten one day. I definitely used this bright purple one day. It's fun. I need to dip into the greens, but I'll get there. Oops, I knocked over a whole pile. I'll get to it. And then my Morphe and James Charles palette. She is dirty, but she is gorgeous. I still have my tape on there from my random color challenge video I did with Sean, but this palette is really nice. It once again has a lot of really nice neutral shades. Your everyday shades that you're going to use a lot more are the larger ones in the middle, which is phenomenally thought out. And then all your colorful stuff is below the line, all your neutrals above the line. Really well thought out palette, really versatile, really interesting, pretty inexpensive, and you can also get it at Ulta. So if you, another palette with a lot of neutrals and some color if you wanted to try. It is just very large. Like, it is very large. It is very large. It is very large. You can see my face. Then I have my 2 e.l.f. bite-sized shadow duos or shadow quads in my everyday drawer just because I don't really have a place for them in this drawer. I don't really use these that much. I personally don't like them that much. I feel like they were all over TikTok. They were all over YouTube. You cannot see them at all. There we go. I don't know. They're not my favorite. The shimmers are really fallouty. You get glitter all over your face. The mattes are okay, but they're just okay. So I'm not gonna go out and buy a bunch of these just for like one matte in each one that's like okay. And the shimmers I'm not a fan of. So the bite-sized shadows are not my favorite, but there are a lot of people's. So I don't know. Toss up. Then I have the Huda Beauty Huda Beauty Nude 9-pan shadow in medium. It's a 9-pan shadow palette. This is pretty deep, but the tones, once again, are like really nice, warm, pinky tones, and then some cool shimmers. The size comparison between the Naughty Nude palette and this palette is pretty dramatic. So, and then the shadow pans are slightly smaller, not a lot, but so, wow, you can really see a lot of my room over here. If you want like a smaller option with nude shades, they have a light, a medium, and a dark of this. And then the Naughty Nude is much larger with a little bit more fun pops. So a few options in case you wanted to try them out. I believe this is also like $28 or something. It's not super expensive for a high-end product that is going to have a lot of blendability, really nice eyeshadows. If you want to try high-end eyeshadows, this might be a good option because it's not crazy expensive. And last couple palettes here, guys, don't you worry. Next we have all my Colourpop stuff, which are all collaborations. Colourpop and Raw Beauty Crispy. Beauty Crispy. Why do I keep saying that? Raw Beauty Crispy collaboration, which I know I talked about. This palette is stunning. I use it all the time. I believe I used it 2 days ago. I did a full look with it before work because it is gorgeous, stunning, and beautiful. The Kathleen Lights and Colourpop Dream Street palette. This is also a gorgeous and stunning palette. I know I've used this a ton of times personally. I don't think I've ever used it on YouTube yet, but this is a really fun palette. It has a lot of neutral shades and then 2 really nice blues, one in matte, one in shimmer, which is really cool because it gives you options. And then this shade, which I believe is Moony. Yeah, Moony down here is like a gorgeous inner corner highlight shade because it's not wicked shimmery. It's just like a glowy shade. It is stunning. And then 2 really nice nude shades, a fun little pink. I don't know, really nice palette. Shimmers in here are great. I should use it on camera more, but I actually don't know if you can still buy it. Then this is the Shayla and Colourpop palette in Perception. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've used this, but once again, it is a collaboration, so I purchased it. Has a lot of fun colors. I think the problem with this is that they're mainly shimmers. And like I said before, I'm a matte girl. I would rather have an all matte palette than have a shimmer palette. So the only mattes are these 4 right here. The rest are shimmer shades. So I don't pick up a palette with just shimmers or mainly shimmers to use. I pick up a palette with mainly mattes with a few shimmers. Like I kind of forget about this palette. I put it in my everyday drawer so I don't forget about it, but I do already. So I need to do better. But this, I don't even know if you can buy this anymore, but it is pretty. I just don't use it a lot. And then my last 2 palettes you've seen before. They are my Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 1 and 2. This is Volume 1. These are staple palettes in my opinion at this point, at least this one, Volume 1, because you can use it as a wedding or bridal makeup palette because of all of these really nice neutral matte tones on the top. They're a hair warm, but they're really not that bad when it comes to warmth. And then you also do have some fun colors down here that you can play with in this little region, but the neutrals go all the way down. Like you have a black, you have a nice range of dark browns that have different undertones with cool, warm, and or like mauve and warm. You have a lot of mid-tone shades, you have a lot of crease shades. You do have 2 like highlight shades in this one with no matte bone color to like set the lid. The second palette has that, but I just wish that this one, like these are so similar that I wish one of these was matte, but that's okay. Also the shimmers are beautiful, a lot of really nice options, a lot of versatility. Then you get into the Volume 2, which here's your matte bone shade. So like they have it in the Volume 2, but the other palette is so well versed that I wish it was in that palette, but it's fine. I have both, so what do I care? This is like a duochrome shade, which is really cool. These shades are more like red, orange, neutral mattes rather than like neutral mattes. You can see tonally the difference here a little bit. So yeah, these are much more red toned, and then you have your bright pinks, purples, a little bit of yellow, a little bit more fun, a lot more pinky. The shimmers in here I do really enjoy, like these 4 right here are stunning, and then this Perfectionist shade is like a beautiful transition shade. So a lot of really cool options in here. So those are all of my palettes. I also have 2 new things that I just got at Sephora that I have not used yet. I got my birthday gift this year. It has the lip sleeping mask, a water sleeping mask, and the Water Bank moisture cream. Interested to try it, especially with eczema. I know the lip sleeping mask is supposed to be amazing, so I'm excited. And then, drum roll please, I have a Rare Beauty Stay Vulnerable Melting Blush. This is one of their new cream blushes. This is in Nearly Neutral. I just got the like neutral shade. I'm super excited to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll see how this goes. It is a cream blush. I know the Rare Beauty liquid blushes that she came out with are really well known. This is like her cream in a compact, so we'll see how I feel. I almost bought a liquid blush, however, they didn't have the color I wanted, so I went with this instead. And that is all I have. Let me get in this frame for you. Ta-da! Hi, I'm on the floor. So that's my whole makeup collection. It's my whole makeup collection organization. So this is all my makeup collection, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this is a weird outro, but it's where I am on the floor having a great time. I really want to go read my book that I've been reading. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I still have so much time because I was watching with Sean last year and the year before. The series on Netflix. It's based off of a book, which we all know, and I purchased the first book in the series to read, and it's very similar, which is hard for me to get through because they're so similar that it's like I know exactly what's going to happen, but it's still fun. I haven't read in a long time, and I really enjoy reading, so getting back into it is really exciting me. On that note, I'm going to go put all these palettes back in that drawer. I'm going to shut all these lights off, and I'm going to go read a book because my voice hurts from talking so much, and I want to relax. So, oh, and I need to change laundry over. I have to put in the dryer. Don't want to forget that. So I'm gonna go. I love you all so much. you had a fantastic time. I hope you had a great week. I know this video isn't really makeup involved, but a lot of people wanted to see this. So we're here with all my makeup, and you get to see how psychotic and crazy I am about makeup, okay? But remember, disclaimer, it's what I do for fun. It's my collection. It's what I like. It's my passion. It's my hobby. Just let me live, okay? I know it's too much. I know I don't need it all. I know it's all gonna expire before I can use it. Guess what? I don't care. So it's fine. Anyways, I love you all so much. I hope you had a fantastic week. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you saw my wonderful Makeup Monday this week because I talked about mental health and what I want to do in the future. If you don't follow me over there, CaitlinJolene_makeup is where I do my Makeup Mondays, and every Monday I post an Instagram tutorial of me doing my makeup, typically for work, sometimes not, but most likely yeah. And we chat, we play music. This week was more chatty than music, but typically they're pretty chill with just like music in the background. So if you want to see that, go follow me over there. And I also do polls where you can like interact and decide what you want to watch, aka this. So if you're on my Instagram, then you voted for this. You'll be happy because you get what you want. I'll see you all next week at 5 on Friday. I think that's all I have to say. So thank you all so much. I love you all. Have a great time. Thanks for being here. I'm not going to get close because I don't need to. Let's do this again. If you made it to the end of the video this week, I want you to post the word. If you want to just give me a descriptive word for my makeup collection. Like, what do you think? Just pick a word, like one word to describe this makeup collection, and put it in the comments to tell me like how nuts I am. Because I'm nuts and I know it, okay? So feel free to put it in the comments what you think of my makeup collection. That's your challenge if you made it to the end of the video. If you didn't make it to the end of the video, then I know because you didn't comment. So just finish the video out. Like, what's the harm in watching 3 more minutes, right? Like, it's fine. Just be cool. Just be cool. Okay? I gotta go. I'm fucking tired. Get me out of here.